Ryan Gerberding here with extra special Read All About It Sports. I have an exclusive interview with Tim Tebow here. Let's go talk to him.
Oh, hello.
Hey, do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Mind if we throw the old pigskin around?
I don't see why not.
So I heard you had an interesting birth story. Would you mind sharing it with the viewers of ESRS?
Well, at the time, my parents were doing a mission trip in the Philippines, and during that summer, my mom was pregnant with me. And when the time came to deliver, she had a life-threatening infection caused by a pathogenic amoeba, and the doctor advised an abortion because they expected a stillbirth and it would prevent the worst. But my family kept faith in God and knew that we had to believe if we wanted the best outcome.
Wow, what happened next?
I was born a healthy child on August 14th, 1987.
Wow, that's quite a story.
That's what happens when you put your faith into God.
So, describe your childhood. How do you think those early years affected how you are now?
I think my early years affected me immensely because growing up, I lived with my mom, my dad, my two older sisters, Christy and Katie, my two older brothers, Rob and Peter, and as a child, I was homeschooled along with the rest of my siblings, with my mom as my teacher.
It's really interesting.
Well, getting back to your question, during my childhood, I looked up to my two older brothers very much, almost idolizing how well they were able to play sports.
Wait, how did your brothers play sports for school while being homeschooled?
Well, in Florida, there was a special law that allowed homeschool kids to play for school-regulated team sports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, the two big sports for me and my brothers were baseball and football, but mainly I dedicated a lot of time to baseball in my younger years and didn't play football until I was in high school.
Did you continue to play baseball into high school?
Yes, I did. I ended up having to make a big decision whether to dedicate my life to baseball or to follow my new passion of football.
Wow, it seems like a big decision. What did you choose?
I chose football.
Oh, of course. So, what was your plan for college?
Well, during high school, I was scouted by a lot of colleges, but the main two I had to decide between were the University of Alabama and Florida State.
You chose Alabama, where you won the Super Bowl, right?
Not exactly. It was a tough decision, but I knew Florida State was my home, and I feel it was definitely the right decision.
Tell me more about your college career.
In 2006, as a Florida Gator, I started as a second-string quarterback behind Chris Leak, although Coach Meyer did see a future starter and gave me some game time to let me experience.
How would you describe your 2007 season?
Well, after Chris Leak graduated, I was named the starting quarterback for the Gators. During the season, we went 9-4, and although I was disappointed that we were ranked third in our Eastern Conference, I was extremely excited to be awarded the Heisman Trophy.
What about your legendary 2008 season?
And 2008 was a very emotional season for me. Going into the season, we told Florida State that we would have an undefeated season, but unfortunately, early on, we lost to a very close game against Ole Miss. And during the post-game interview, I said, "I promise you one thing, a lot of good will come out of this. You will never see any player in the entire country play as hard as I will this season. You will never see anyone push their team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of this season. And you will never see a team play harder than the rest of this season."
So, how did the rest of the season go after you made that promise?
After I made that promise, we continued our season making a 9-long winning streak, going on to win the National BCS Championship, declaring the 2008 Florida Gators the #1 team in the nation.
Wow, that year really showed how great you can be as a football player. How did your 2009 season go?
It's hard to top a really good season like the one we had in 2008, but we did manage to go 15-1, just shy of the perfect season again. But we were able to go to Sugar Bowl and beat Cincinnati 51-24 and ended up being ranked 3rd overall in the nation.
Wow, you had quite a college experience. How did you transition into the NFL?
Well, throughout my college career, I was viewed as a very unorthodox player because of my running mentality and my unusual throwing pattern. Although controversial, I was the 25th pick overall in the 2010 NFL Draft by the Denver Broncos.
So, how did your NFL career go?
My 2000 season was a little uneventful, only playing a few games, but I was still very grateful for them.
How was your 2011 season?
My 2011 season was very interesting. I was having a quarterback battle for the starting position between Kyle Orton and myself, but eventually Kyle Orton received the starting position.
When did the coach, John Fox, decide to start you?
Well, in the first 5 weeks, Kyle started and brought our team to a 1-4 deficit. Coach Fox pulled Orton out of the game and let me start.
So what happened during the game that week against the Chargers?
Well, after the halftime, I was able to rally our team to a close game, but unfortunately we lost 29-24.
So how did the rest of the season go?
Well, I ended up taking the Broncos on an 8-game winning streak, winning a lot of games in the final seconds or in overtime, known as Tebow time.
During the season, you were quite popular in the media.
Yes, I was known for my exciting games as well as my signature pose called Tebowing.
So talk about your exciting playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
With a spare week ahead of us before the game, I knew that I had to step up my throwing ability, knowing that we were going against last year's Super Bowl contender, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that we had lost the 4 last games, barely squeezing in the playoffs.
So how did the game go?
It was a nail-biting game up to the last second and ended up going into overtime, where on the first play, I threw a pass to Demarius Thomas and he ended up throwing a vicious stiff arm, allowing him to run all the way for a touchdown.
That must have been exciting.
Oh, it definitely was. The crowd was roaring, jumping up and down with excitement that we did them possible.
So how did the rest of the playoffs go?
Unfortunately, we lost to the Patriots 45-10.
That is unfortunate. How is your current season going?
Being traded to the Jets was definitely not expected, but I am enjoying my new job as a New York Jet. Hey, go long!